I picked up a thrifted pair of jeans along with this 9x9 shadow box. I removed the insert and used it to trace a template on the back of the jeans. I made sure to overlay it on the pocket and the brand tag. I cut out the shape, leaving some excess on all the sides. I was left with this. Now, the reason I wanted to use a shadow box and not a regular picture frame is because the insert is padded. That makes it super easy to use pins to hold the jeans in place. Once that was done, I pressed everything in place and cut off the excess fabric. I was shocked with how well this turned out. Not only does it look cool on its own, it also provides the perfect storage with both a loop and a huge pocket. I can use it to store all kinds of things, and it's already been a huge conversation starter when guests come over.
What do old blue jeans and organization have in common? The answer might surprise you. For this project, I first went to the thrift store and headed straight to the clothing section. I rifled through the pants and found the perfect pair of dark blue jeans that were 50% off, making them only $3. I started by cutting the small front pocket, making sure to only cut the front layer of the jeans. Then I turned the jeans over and removed the 2 back pockets and all the loops. Once everything was removed, I trimmed the excess fabric from the pockets and loops. The frame of the corkboard came with a slight finish on it, so I used some 220 grit sandpaper to quickly sand that finish off. I wanted to start over with bare wood. I used a clean microfiber cloth to remove the dust, then stained the frame with 2 coats of stain in the color Golden Pecan. Once the stain was fully dry, I sealed the wood with a wipe-on poly and again allowed the frame to dry. First, I measured the inner portion of the corkboard, which was 21 3/4 inches long by 15 3/4 inches wide. Then, using my rotary cutter and the mat, I cut the fabric to size, 21 3/4 inches long by 15 3/4 inches wide. Once the fabric was cut, I squeezed some fabric glue onto the top third of the corkboard, then spread it evenly with a foam brush. Then I lined the fabric up with the cork portion and applied it to the board, making sure to smooth out any wrinkles. Then I repeated that process for the last 2/3 of the board. Once the fabric was secured, I used a flat tool to push any excess fabric under the wooden frame for a more seamless look. The next day, I first attached the hanging hooks that came with the board to the back of the wooden frame. I flipped the board over and started playing with the position of the jean pockets. Once I was happy with the placement, I used some gold pins I got on Amazon to secure them to the board. Then it was time to decorate with my kids' trinkets, medals, and ribbons from school, and some souvenirs they got on a recent trip. Now my kids have a super cute organizer for their room that can grow with them. I hope this tutorial inspired you to get creative with some old jeans to make your very own blue jean organizer.
I love a good upcycle, and these are the perfect projects for some thrifted or ripped jeans that you don't want to throw out. To get the jeans ready for these projects, I want to start by cutting off the pockets and the waistline of each pair. I'm using a very sharp pair of fabric scissors so that I can easily cut close to the seams. Now that the jeans are ready to go, I want to start with the waistline piece. I was hoping to use the darker piece, but the belt loops make it difficult even when they're cut off. I'm going to use the lighter piece and trim the pieces to 2 to 3 inches from the button and the buttonhole. Next, I want to use one of the larger pieces of denim I was able to save and cut out a piece that can be used as a napkin. I could make a square by folding the piece in half and then folding it into a triangle. To create the napkin ring, I'm going to use the button and the buttonhole pieces that I saved. I can trim them off to make them a little shorter and then hot glue the ends together to make the napkin ring. Next up, I want to create a placemat with one of the large pieces of denim that I was able to save. I want to trim off any extra seams, and then I'm going to leave the edges raw. I really like the frayed look on the raw edges. To give the placemat a little character, I'm going to glue on one of the pockets. I can add the hot glue to the back and then put it in place. The glue will dry quickly and hold the pocket perfectly. Finally, I want to make one more thing with the saved pockets. I grabbed some of this pretty plaid fabric that I saved from a thrifted shirt, and I'm going to combine it with one of the small pockets. Next, I want to trim off the excess plaid fabric around the bottom of the pocket and up the sides. I don't want to cut any further though than the top edge of the pocket. To finish the edges of the plaid fabric above the pocket, I'm going to turn them under about 1/2 inch and use the hot glue to stick the seams in place. I saved the pockets from the plaid shirt, cutting them the same way I did for the jeans, and I want to finish this off by adding the plaid pocket over the jean pocket. I think these jean upcycles turned out so cute, and they're perfect for a summer party.
So you're going to need 2 boxes. These boxes are on the smaller side, and it's pretty much best to use small or medium boxes for this. Now we're going to cut off all of the extra little cardboard pieces that are hanging off of the sides. Of course, this craft is cat approved because of the boxes, and I'm just going to go and continue to cut off all of these 4 pieces that are off to the side. You can go and save these for another craft. If you don't save them, make sure to go and recycle them. Now you have these boxes, so let's take a pair of jeans that are washed and lay them out. We're going to cut off both of the legs. It doesn't need to be pretty or anything like that. Just go and cut these off, and if you want to, save any extra materials. Cut these down one more time in half, and now let's go and measure this. So you might have to go and cut these pants one more time across the seam, and if you do, that is fine. You can either use this other side for another craft, or you can go and just save it for the other side of your box. After that is cut, we're going to go and measure the fabric that's going inside. Now, the easiest way to do this is just line it up on the outer portion of the box and cut this in 2 panels that would be on the sides. Measure this piece for the bottom. Cut this as well too. I am using a checkered pattern, so I really don't have to make a mark, at least on this side, and I kind of realized that after the fact. So after those are cut out, let's put some glue in the inner portion. You can use either hot glue or some E6000 glue. I use the E6000 glue just because this one I wanted it to be a little bit more durable, but the glue does take a bit of time for it to go and dry. So now let's glue in these panels. I cut these into 2 different sections, and after you have each section glued down, go and cut the corners and then secure it at the sides. Make sure to get all of these down before you go and measure this up with the pair of jeans. So I'm measuring this up now, and I'm seeing how much material this is going to go and cover. I can safely cover just about 2.5 sides of this box. Now I'm just using the corner of the box on the outer portion to just go and cut this. Again, it doesn't have to be perfect, it doesn't have to be pretty. If you want to, you can go and measure it with maybe a ruler or something like that. But at the edge here, I'm going and gluing it down just to make it look a little bit more presentable. Now I'm putting some glue onto the box. And after that has some glue, let's go and take this and put it down. The little section that you glued down should be overlapping just slightly at the top of the box. Now let's put some more glue on this side, lay the fabric down, and get it all the way over to the side where it will fit. Now at the corners again, just like you did for the inner portion of the box, go and cut this. But before you go and glue it down, go and take off any extra material, but do leave a small amount on the bottom so you can glue this to the bottom. And now let's go and finish off the rest of the box. Take any extra fabric that you have, cover the other sides, and if you want to, you can always fold over the edges in the inner portion, which is what I am doing right now. I'm putting some glue onto this edge here, then I'm going and folding it in. Now, because I did use some E6000 glue, it will take a bit of time to go and dry, so I'm going to go and have to clip it, so I'm just using these little tiny cat clips. Now flip your box over, go and glue down any extra fabric that you have, and while that dries, we're going to go and cut off some of these little tiny pieces for the belt loop, glue these onto the sides. Feel free to use hot glue for this, or pretty much any glue that you want to use that'll keep these in place. Now we can go and write on the box. I'm writing on this box toys. The other one I didn't put anything onto because I just wanted to use it in my closet, but this took about 24 hours for it to dry and no longer smell. The other one I did use hot glue for, so you don't have to use the E6000 glue if you want to. But let's go and fill this toys box with some cat toys. My cats were extremely happy to, of course, be in this video, and this box can hold a lot of toys, and it just makes things look a lot better rather than having this just in a cardboard box, and it fits perfectly underneath my cat's scratching post. But these also work too for going and organizing your closet. For my other box, I'm going to use it to go and organize my bathroom closet. This little box does actually fit a lot, and it really does organize things, plus it just looks so incredibly cute. These little belt loops that are for handles on the side are adorable, and they are pretty practical, so they do work well to go and take this out. Thank you all so much for watching. I will see you next time!